Welcome into the Invest Well Show. I'm your host, Michael Wall. And on this show, I want to take a few minutes and talk about artificial intelligence, investing in AI. Listen, we all live in a world where people are like, hey, how do I get rich quick? The next gold rush. Well, is AI the next gold rush? That's a question that I think a lot of people have. The other question they have is, how do I get involved? How do I invest? Should I invest? Should I be involved? Is it too early? Right? All of these questions that come out. And are the big, massive companies, the IBMs and the Googles and the Amazons, are they the only plays that kind of jump in here? The answer is, and question really is, an answer to that question, I should say, is no, they're not the only play. And there are ways that you can participate. We just have to make sure that we're paying attention, just like anything else along the way. So before we jump into some ideas, some stock ideas, some information in general as far as things to look at, there's one particular company I'm going to kind of highlight. But before I jump there, I want to talk about some of the basics of AI. I think a lot of times when we think of AI, we think about, robots. We think about Terminator. We think about Schwarzenegger. We think about, us being overtaken by robots coming in with guns. And we're like, oh my gosh, the world is ending. And there is an element of kind of concern and worry and fear there for sure. But the reality of it is, I think AI is integrated in so many different facets of our day-to-day life, and in ways maybe that we don't even necessarily think about it. Some that we do, some that we don't, and some that we will soon find as it continues to come on the scene. So let's take a minute and jump into, there was an article from IBM, obviously a company that's done a great job in the tech space for a long, long time. An article from IBM that I want to pull up on screen and kind of helps us kind of walk through some of the basics of AI. So JP, let's pull that up real quick. All right, so when we take a look at this, we see that there's really three kinds of AI based on capabilities: artificial narrow, general AI, and super AI. Now, the artificial narrow intelligence, as you can see the first one here, also known as weak AI, you'll know this is the one that we're most commonly familiar with. It's where we get Siri, Amazon's Alexa, IBM Watson, different examples of narrow AI. What's very, very interesting is if you go back, and now let's take a look real quick in that article again, you'll see here that any other form, second sentence, any other form of AI is theoretical. It can be trained to perform a single or narrow task. In other words, the idea is there's a lot of things out there that's being talked about that AI is here and AI is there, but these are all theoretical ideas. That's not actual practical things that are currently being used in many different ways. So that's important to note. Like, are we investing in something that's actually real, or investing in something that's an idea, or are we investing in something that's currently being used? It kind of reminds me in a lot of ways of crypto. Crypto, and a lot of times you have the meme coins where there really was no functionality from those coins, actual real world practical value. It was just theory. It was an idea, and it was people kind of investing on hype, and the old pump and dump and all of that went with that. It's the idea of we're not actually investing in something that's practical and real. So we need to understand that when we're investing in technology, are these ideas theories, or are they real and practical? Are they being used? If we go back to the article now on the IBM page, we see that the number 2 is general AI, and general AI, also known as strong AI, today, nothing more than a theoretical concept. So let's think about that. They might be talked about. They may have analysts talking about all of these things as far as general AI, but this is just a concept. It's an idea. It's a hypothesis. There we go, right? It's an educated guess, these ideas of what could be. And then the third thing we see here is super AI, commonly referred to as artificial super intelligence. Like AGI, it's strictly theoretical. Now, this is so important because I think oftentimes when we move into the lane of investments and into ideas and into technology, this is where, folks, we have to be cautious that we don't find ourselves getting involved in a Ponzi scheme. Something that sounds very sexy and new and exciting, but we don't really know anything about it. And so we decide to invest dollars into it. And then when we do that, we find out a little later that it actually didn't exist, or isn't real, or is just theory. We're really just investing into somebody's pipe dream that has no real practical legs. It'd be like you saying, hey, I want to invest into this new car company that has these great renderings, these great drawings. They've hired these wonderful engineers. They've kind of stacked the deck in a lot of ways, but they never actually have produced a car. And will the car actually hit market? Maybe it will, maybe it won't. Well, we've seen this in the drug space where there's ideas, they're in certain levels of testings, but they're not FDA approved. And there's a lot of kind of layers and steps to actually get this to market. So I want you to be challenged and really cautioned to think about what you're investing in and ensuring that what you're investing in is actually practical, actually real, and actually has the potential to come to market. In my opinion, I think there's nothing wrong with investing in pre-IPO companies, but I think it's super important when you think about investing in pre-IPO companies that you really understand metrics of what is the balance sheet, where's the money going, what are they actually investing in, is there any real-world practical tests, and oh, by the way, do they have any LOIs, letters of intent, from companies that are actually intending on buying the technology or buying this interface to actually be able to be used in real-world practical situations? Because if none of that exists, then really all that we're doing is investing in ideas. And it's like anything else. It's the law of supply and demand. If we're in a place where we have massive supply, which is ideas, but no demand, then the value goes way down. We need to make sure that when we're investing into something, we are in a place where we understand what is the exit. Similarly, as an example, when we invest in real estate, when I look at real estate, one of the things we always look at, whether it's multifamily or storage or data centers or whatever it is, we want to know what is the exit. How do we get out? Do we get out? And is there an exit on the way out? Who's the buyer is what I'm saying, because that really dictates and determines what the valuation you're going to get when you leave, which obviously dictates your profit. So don't just invest in ideas just because they're sexy and new and you don't know a lot about it. And you want to give yourself an opportunity to talk about something either with your ladies when you're hanging around having a glass of wine or your friends on the golf course. Just be like, hey, did you hear about XYZ? Don't do that. In fact, it's very interesting. Before we're going to jump in a minute to a technology specifically that is on market that's had some significant gains. We'll talk about that in just a minute. But it's very interesting when you talk to people that oftentimes they will share with you their wins. Oh my gosh, I made X amount of money on this investment and it was incredible. What they won't talk to you about is their losses. So in the essence of building a plan, an investment plan, portfolio structure that is comprehensive and really complementary, we want to make sure that we're looking at every aspect of risk, not just market risk, but political risk. There's a lot of different types of risk, business risk, inflation risk, interest rate risk, that we have to look at, absorption risk, that we got to look at when we look at the investment that we're in to really ensure we're investing into something that's quality. All right, let's jump to screen now. I want to pull up on Yahoo. There's a live feed. JP, let's pull that up. This is a company that you've probably heard of before, Palantir Technologies, and it really shot up really pretty quickly over the last day or two, had a huge spike, huge increase. And the question is it something where there's still a lot of runway to go? Now, we know the stock price, as we're showing this live anyways, is around $25 a share. And we know that there is potential, obviously, for it to go higher. But the question is it the right time to get in? Why did I bring this up? I'm not suggesting that you buy into the stock. I'm not saying go back the truck up and buy these stocks. So be cautious of what I'm saying here. What I am suggesting is that there is opportunity. And I also want to challenge you that anytime that you get into any type of investment, whether it's an on-market, on the stock market investment, or off-market investment, you want to be cautious of really a couple things. One is, where is the price now? Are we at a high that we've never been at before? Maybe it's time to get in. Maybe it's time to get a little bit in. Maybe it's time to wait for a little bit of a pullback and then get in because we like this technology long-term. Meta, as an example, the other day had a huge increase, spiked about 20% in one day. And so is this a company that's going to be around for a while? Well, obviously the infrastructure's there. They have huge bandwidth. They have a lot of data. They have a lot of people that are subscribed to the platform. And similarly, we want to look at things like Palantir that I just brought up on screen, technologies to say, okay, what is the staying power? Who's buying this company, this technology, I should say, who's investing in it? What is it being used for? All of these things are factors, I think, that you want to think about. So when we go back to the reality of that kind of initial beginning of the show, talking about what are the three basics of AI, I think that's a great filter to kind of sift things through initially. And that is, what type of AI is it? Is it theory or is it practical? And is it actually being used right now today? And by the way, I'm not in any way, shape, or form saying that it doesn't make sense to invest in opportunities that are yet coming. I just want to challenge you to think about what you're investing in, why, and when you do enter in, why you're entering in. And last thing that I'll share, and then we'll kind of land the plane on the show, I think it's so important that we think about the idea of greed. You know, the old sentiment, I think it was, can't remember who sang it, was part of a song. It said, know when to hold them, know when to fold them, right? Talking about playing cards. Like, don't get bigger than your britches, as my mom used to say back in the day, or your eyes are bigger than your stomach, son, right? Remember that when we were kids? Well, don't do that with your investments and with your money. Make sure that as you're making decisions, if you are someone that is a professional in an industry that's not in the investment space, and I know that many of you have had bad experiences from people that have been in the investment space, make sure that you find someone that has a very well-rounded approach and not only looks at an opportunity that's on market, but also has a heavy lens to off-market opportunity, because there's really a lot of opportunity in different venues and sectors on and off market, which will give us the ability to participate in demographic investing and different things like that. So important that you don't back the truck up to any one investment. Now, if you're younger and you say back the truck up, what is he talking about? Is he talking about backing the truck up and somebody's loading a bunch of dirt in the bed of his GMC truck? No, I'm talking about taking all of your money and investing in one particular thing because you think it's just going to be a grand slam. Great recipe. That is a great recipe for disaster. I highly would recommend not doing that. Obviously, it's your own money. You can make your own decisions. But at the end of the day, when you invest, we have to think about what are we investing in and why. Listen, I hope that's given you a little bit of an overview of AI, the three basics, an idea of what to look at, even a company that's actually doing some great work right now and having some great growth as far as their overall share price. And there's lots of other companies, by the way, that you can look at that are already investing in AI, whether it be Google or NVIDIA, Microsoft, as well as Tesla and others. So if you want to be involved in companies that are taking the leap and taking this step, you don't just have to invest in one company. Think about diversification along the way. Listen, make sure that you're subscribed and notifications are on so you can ensure that you get our weekly lives as they come out, as well as other things along the way. And take a minute and share this show with someone that you believe is going to find value. Listen, be blessed. Talk soon. Have a great one.